politics Asia, and Commander, there is enemy forces hiding behind the like button. Strike it. Take them out. And so we're going to start off with the frontline changes report. We have frontline changes over in Kursk region, and a very significant one. So we're going to zoom into Kursk front first. Over in the northwestern flank, there is two major frontline changes, both affected by Russian geolocation. Russian forces geolocated inside Kurakhove, and Ukrainian forces geolocated just off the Novosilka. And Ukrainian mapping also acknowledged the frontline change over at Kurakhove, with Russian forces basically capturing a huge chunk of Kurakhove, the major forest around there, resulting in a massive collapse of the Ukrainian lines in this sector. However, the Ukrainian geolocation of the Ukrainian forces. Oh, I just realized my mic is very far away. I shall move in here. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hope you did hear me just now. So if not, then I'm just gonna repeat a little bit. So, the Russian forces captured the huge chunk of the forest over Kurakhove. Ukrainian forces geolocated at Novosilka, which means that they have invalidated some of the Russian claims over at the eastern part of Novosilka. However, this is still pretty much a major advance by the Russian forces at Kurakhove, totally changing the outlook of the current Ukrainian situation. It actually makes it look less bad for the Ukrainians, because the lines looks more sensible right now for the Ukrainians, but the Russians are taking ground, and yeah, this is what it is. So that's all from the Kursk front. The next frontline change, we jump all the way to the Pokrovsk front. Over the Pokrovsk sector of the Pokrovsk front, there is some updates regarding the situation over at the Shevchenko-Pischany region in the south of Pokrovsk. Russian forces geolocated outside in the north of Shevchenko, confirming the Russians have captured more grounds inside Shevchenko. Ukrainian, this one is, and then the Ukrainian mapping have confirmed that the Russians have retaken this small forest region on the west of Shevchenko, and in fact went further all the way to the lake in the southwest of Pischany, as the Russians continue to develop and preparing this pincer attack on Pischany from both sides. So the situation is getting really bad. But as usual, I'm saying this every single day, is starting to get a little bit boring. So the situation is fantastic for the Ukrainians. So it's going to make their life more exciting, and they are going to able to show their heroic abilities to defeat the Russian orcs. So yeah, I think that's actually more exciting. So moving on from the Pokrovsk front, we go to the Battle of Kurakhove. The updates coming from the south. In the south, the Russian forces have completed the full capture of the tree line in the south of Kurakhove city, and they have advanced into the field towards the beauty salon in the middle of the nowhere. So I'm not sure why there's a beauty salon around here. Who the hell cut their hair here? I have no freaking idea, but the Russians really need their hair cut. So they are advancing in this sector towards the beauty salon. They're gonna storm the beauty salon and take all their shampoos. So this is disastrous. The Ukrainians are putting tremendous defense around the beauty salon because they really need to cut their hair and their beard, because you can totally imagine when you look at the Ukrainian photos, you can see a lot of beard. Yeah, that is the reason, because the Russians have conquered all the beauty salons, and this is the most important one over in this sector. So tremendous developments around this area here. After the beauty salon, over in the Uspenivka front, which is on the verge of no more. So let's cover the one over on the eastern part first. In the north, the Russian forces expanding control in the west of Donetsk, as the Russian forces continue to ignore Uspenivka as they continue to push towards the rear positions of this crossing in the Konstantinopolsk region. I think I should move it a bit like this, so maybe it makes a bit more sense. So, and the Ukrainian mapping have considered the entire region around Hanivka, and as I did mention before, it's impossible to hold this position, and this is why I tell you guys, especially the pro-Ukrainian guys, don't hold up hopes in any way, because it is actually gone. They just delaying the information just so that yeah, the emotional damage is not as damaging, but the emotional damage comes later. So instead of like getting punched very hard one time and then recover, you get punched every single day. So no, that's what it is. The Russian forces conquered Hanivka and fully taken this entire impossible salient that I mentioned north of Hanivka. And the latest mapping by the Ukrainians have shown that the entire west of Vasily High as well as Hanivka is now under Russian control. The front line is now moving with the battle with Trudove, which I also have to tell you, this is impossible for the Ukrainians to be there. Ukrainians are going to just defend at Uspenivka as the Ukrainian forces continue to withdraw. Basically, they are operationally encircled if they are still here. So they can't possibly be Ukrainian forces in Trudove. As you follow up the road, you can see that the Russians have taken control of the entire fortification here, and of course the crossing. There is no more crossing along the Sukiali River, so the Trudove is gone. Essentially, just take note that it's already captured by the Russian forces. Essentially, we're just waiting for the concession from the Ukrainian side that no, they have lost it. If you look at the Russian mapping, it's already taken. So over at Konstantinopolsk, the Russian forces also expanded control on the verge of full capture of Konstantinopolsk, and they have advanced in the direction of Uspenivka. As I mentioned just now, controlled the crossing. This crossing is now under Russian control. This is gone. So this is gone already. The Ukrainian, but yeah. I don't know how I should draw it, man. So they have taken all of this area here, and Konstantinopolsk cannot be held. Ukrainian forces will have to withdraw towards Yantarny, and so that's the current development in this sector as the Russian forces expanded control around the west of Donetsk as they going to go all the way to Yantarny, and they're going to bypass Uspenivka because Uspenivka is no longer holdable. The Ukrainian forces defending in this area, they're just going to get encircled if they don't run. So that's the current frontline change around this sector. And we move on to the Velyka Novosilka sector. There is two changes. One is Novi Korma, with the Russian forces taking more grounds around Novi Korma. This confirmed. And then the next frontline change is over Sterizove. This is more interesting as the Russian forces do the finger like this, like they're gonna touch the spot, that spot which is where the Sterizove is. Ukrainian forces is now getting very aroused with this finger going up in this region here, and the entire Ukrainian forces at Makarivka is now operationally encircled. That is really out. If you look at the Ukrainian mapping themselves, Deep State UA's mapping, let me show you. So where is it? So if you look at it, they themselves have drawn that the Ukrainian forces is now encircled at Makarivka with the finger going up in this way, and the Ukrainian forces defending over Sterizove. So this is essentially the same thing. As you can see, it is exactly the same thing. So the situation is horrible. And I don't believe the Ukrainians are still at Makarivka. I believe that they have already withdrawn to Sterizove already. There is no way the Ukrainian command is going to sacrifice Ukrainian troops in this way. Maybe. So yeah, so that's all. These are all the frontline changes over the past 24 hours, and we're gonna talk about the total area captured. As the biggest capture for the Russians over the past 24 hours is Kursk. This entire forest and area here, this is massive. Like, just zoom in and try to imagine the size of a human being, like the house. This is a massive area. You're talking about the front line of like 5.85 kilometers. This is really huge. So the entire area here is now under Russian control, contributing to the biggest capture. Ukrainians, of course, only captured the invalidation of the Russian claims. Otherwise, the next biggest capture is at Uspenivka due to the collapse over at Hanivka and Konstantinopolsk. So all this contributed to the next biggest frontline change. So anyway, let's do some mathematics. So the area captured, so for the Russians is 22.5 plus 1.56 plus 0.58 plus 4.25 plus 0.6. So it's 29.49 square kilometers captured by the Russian forces. So so that's it. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and yes, and yeah, my mic is yeah. The reason because this time around I broke this is because there's this thing. Sure. Yeah, this nail broke, which is part of the stand for this thing. So now I can only hold this like as if I'm singing. But if I hold this, if I'm hold a mic like this to talk, which is pretty good, I'm sure you will you have fantastic audio. You will get audible audio orgasm. But the problem is that that I will lose this hand to do the short keys to the arrows to change the colors. Yeah, so and enable and disable of the mouse from the annotation to the controlling of the map. So yeah, so I can't hold this way, but maybe I can do this for other reports, and then yeah, it could be something interesting. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next update.